Ethiopian soldiers have surrounded an area in South Sudan where they suspect more than 100 Ethiopian children are being held. It's believed the children were taken by Murle tribesmen in the Gambella region last week during a cross-border raid that killed 208 people. Now, TRT World's Fidelis Mba joins me now in the studio with more on this story. Very sad story here, Fidelis. What more do we know about where and who is holding these children?
Well, these children were taken last Friday by these tribesmen, suspected tribesmen, because it was a cross-border raid. More like people are suspecting it's more like an ethnic clash between two groups, which actually resulted in one taking the other. These tribesmen who have been suspected of taking these children crossed into Gambella, which is about 50 kilometers from the border with South Sudan. And also bear in mind that about 200,000 people who fled fighting in South Sudan are in Ethiopia, and some of them live in that Gambella region. So during this attack, more than 200 people were killed, and then these 100 children were taken by these tribesmen. So what the Ethiopian government has done now is they've sent their troops across the border into South Sudan with permission of the South Sudanese government to be able to rescue these children. But right now, no one knows the situation, whether they're going to apply force or whether they will actually more like be able to rescue these children all alive.
If you can just give us a little bit more context about the conflict in the region. I mean, you mentioned the refugees that have been fleeing South Sudan and have been in Gambella, and of course the sort of the ethnic conflict that's going on in the region, tribal conflicts as well. How does the history and politics play a role in this big tragedy?
Yep, the thing is, these tribal groups, they've always been clashing over, over land, over cattle, because they're mostly farmers. And so when this clashes sometimes escalate, it gets into people having to lose their lives, because when they attack, they don't just come with bare hands. They attack with, all manner of sophisticated weapons. And this actually happened to be one of them. This is actually about the biggest in the history of both countries, because before now it was just a case of people stealing cows, people attacking, burning down houses, but now kidnapping as much as 100 children and killing over 200 people. This is the biggest. And Ethiopia has actually been trying to more like step in by taking in these 200,000 South Sudanese refugees to avoid a spillover of the crisis which has which had engulfed South Sudan since 2013, that has displaced millions and killed thousands.
Certainly taking this conflict, though, to a whole new level here. Okay, Fidelis, thanks very much for your insight there. Fidelis Mba.